Everybody ready? Good. Then let's get going. Nearly forgot you guys. Hi everyone, a really warm welcome back. Well, I haven't done one of these recaps of the year for us, I think, ever. But 2020 has been an absolutely awful year for a lot of folks, and I thought at least I'd do a bit of a look back and try and end the year on a high note for us in terms of what did we actually manage to do, where did we actually manage to get, and so let's at least celebrate the good bits of the year. So let's get into the recap. We actually kicked off the year with a visit to Longley to catch up with some friends and to see the Festival of Light, and that was ace because our friends had recently bought themselves a big green egg barbecue and smoker, and they're great cooks anyway. So we were presented with our fabulous Christmas present of some home smoked salmon, and then smoked ourselves some pizza before heading back to the Caravan and Motorhome Club site at Longley itself, which is actually incredibly convenient, so that's great. We've done that rite of passage. Anyway, we headed back there and saw the lights, which this year, or the year just gone, was themed around myths and legends. And being a half English, half Greek family, that was perfect. Next, in caravanning terms, we headed off for the camping caravanning show at the NEC. But before we did that, we did head back into the Black Country Living Museum because our annual passes were about to run out. And then into the show itself. For a day or two, where I made some relatively popular videos about small family caravans and innovation and a survival guide for other parents. So after the show, once we were homeward bound, we were expecting to head up to York for Easter, of course, but then that didn't happen because we all went into the first national lockdown. So we managed to try and imitate the experience with the drivecation, which involved some fudge making, and then we got to get the fire pit out as well to roast some Easter lamb and chicken, so that was great. Then once we were finally allowed back out again, the youngest and I headed to Friars Court, which is a CL right on the banks of the River Thames, and we had a great couple of nights there. Because half of our family lives in Greece, our big summer holiday is always visiting them because we only ever get to see them once a year anyway. So unlike certain Prime Minister's fathers, who actually has a house in the same area, we isolated before we went so that we didn't carry anything nasty over to the grandparents. And then we waited until direct flights from the UK were actually open. Now, as it turned out, the flight that we were booked on anyway and had been booked on for months and months beforehand was one of the first to go. I have to say it was a very interesting experience seeing Gatwick quite so empty. So back from Greece again, we kept ourselves to ourselves for a couple of weeks. It just seemed the right thing to do. We weren't legally required to. Anyway, once that was cleared, we headed down to Rooksbury with some other friends and enjoyed the forest there as part of a last weekend before the end of the school holidays. And then school restarted in person, which was a huge relief to us as parents. So our October half-term trip became a trip to Cirencester, where we were investigating Romans and following up some stuff that the eldest has been doing in school itself. But we ended up getting pelted with biblical hailstones, and I have to say I thought that was absolutely on par for the year that was 2020. And that was it. You know, I'm sure it's perfectly possible for those who live in lower infection areas and really need to be able to get out to do so sensibly across this winter. But for us, we decided that October was the end of our touring year, and so the caravan has been cleaned from top to bottom and wrapped up for winter. So the other benefit, of course, of not having so many trips to put on the channel is that I've been able to catch up with some of the more technical stuff, the mods and so on that I've done to the caravan over the past year or two, but then update those videos. So add to the footage that was gathered back then with updates as to how things have performed and how they're working in real life for proper extended periods of time. So I hope those have been fun viewing. So the caravan being laid up for the winter has actually given me for the first time the opportunity to do something I've been wanting to do for ages. So there seems to be all this conflicting, not advice, more opinion, I think, about how you store your caravan over the winter. And it really confused me when I was a new caravaner, back when we had the caravan 3 years ago now. And I wasn't quite sure what I was supposed to be doing. So I have bought myself a set of Bluetooth sensors, and they measure both temperature and humidity, and they log that. And so I'm working my way through 4 different variables. So the variables of ventilation and heating and desiccant crystals, and also a small dehumidifier. And I'm working through those variables independently, so just one at a time, and also every possible combination of those things to work out what on earth happens. And because I've got these sensors, I can tell what's actually happening in the caravan. I've also put a sensor outside so that I can subtract a baseline. So hopefully whatever the weather's doing won't then invalidate the results that are happening in the caravan. So what I'm hoping to do is produce, if you like, the ultimate guide, or at least find out what on earth's going on in there. I suspect that some things won't make very much difference at all. But, until we have the data, we can't say for sure. So as I sit here talking to you, that test is running in the caravan. I'm doing each of the variables for at least 48 hours so that we get some decent stabilized results, and we can look at the data and check it's consistent. So that will hopefully be coming out in the new year. Assuming everything goes to plan, of course, and the experiment works out. Anyway, that's us for the year, trying to end 2020 on a positive. So from the 4 of us, a very happy new year, and here's crossing everything for 2021. Thanks for your support this year, and I guess bye for now. See ya.